Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Melissa Potvin. I'm the director of Qlik Community. Welcome to our second live event. We're very excited that you took time out of your day to join us. We are hosting these events by Qlik Community, and today you are joining Talk to Experts Tuesday. Talk to Experts Tuesday will run every other Tuesday. We are really thrilled to have these live events. It gives us a great opportunity for our members of the support organization and others to get to know you and to see us live. So today our topic is Qlik Sense Enterprise on Windows. The topic every other week, every other Tuesday will vary. Our next topic will be end printing, so be sure to register for that. We'll talk more about that at the end. For now, I will pass to Jamie Gregory. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Talk to Experts Tuesday session. We're super excited to be here with everyone, and we hope you are too. So as Melissa said, this is a new series that we've created that allows us to connect with all of you. Each session, we will have a different topic with subject matter experts on the call, and we'll use the time to field your questions, share resources, and hopefully demonstrate a few things within the product. So the agenda for today is pretty light. We're just going to review a few housekeeping items, then we'll lead straight into the topic for today. So to give you time to get your questions in, we're going to share a little bit about ourselves as well. Let's go ahead and get started. So our housekeeping items for the day. Everyone is muted on the call, so please use the Q&A panel to ask your questions. We'll try to respond back within the panel, but we're mainly going to be answering everything live for you today. But if we don't get to your question or it's something that may take some time to research, we'll put it in the post in the community along with today's recording. So keep in mind that some of the panelists are within Qlik support, but we're not going to be able to answer questions regarding a specific open case or really any scripting or development questions. But we do ask that you keep the questions related to the topic at hand. And if we don't get to the answer again, we will make sure that we follow up accordingly. So as Melissa said, today's topic is Qlik Sense Enterprise on Windows. So as you know, Qlik Sense Enterprise is a complete data analytics platform. It features our one-of-a-kind Qlik associative engine and empowers everyone in your organization to make better, faster, data-driven decisions. So let us know what kind of questions you have. Are you an administrator wanting to know more about using the QMC? Are you IT wanting to know more about the installation process? Or are you a user wanting to know where to get started? Let us know in the Q&A panel. While we wait for all of you to enter in your questions, we'll go ahead and take this time to introduce ourselves. So today I have quite the star-studded panel joining me. I have Mike Dixon, who is a senior technical support engineer. I also have Andrew Delaney, who's one of our principal technical support engineers. And last but not least, I have Senior Product Manager, Thomas Hopp. Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Jamie. As Jamie said, my name is Mike Dixon. I'm one of the senior tech support engineers out of the Raleigh, North Carolina office in the United States. I've been with Qlik for 5 years now, and my primary focus has been Qlik Sense since I started with Qlik. I came in working when Qlik Sense was back on 2.1. So I've been through the migration of sync persistence up to shared persistence into what it is now. And it's been a fun journey. I primarily focus on the infrastructure part, so infrastructure and deployment of Qlik Sense, and it's fun. All environments are a little bit different, and it keeps you on your toes to manage everything. So it's been a journey, and it's enjoyable. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks, Mike. Andrew.
G'day. So I'm Andrew Delaney. I'm based in Lund, Sweden, though I'm originally from Australia. Similar story to Mike, though, in that I've been with Qlik about 5 years. Started with Qlik Sense when it was on version 2.1, and I've focused primarily on infrastructure issues, how to keep Qlik Sense running, how to scale it, how to make sure that everything is going in a timely fashion, and obviously, being based out of Europe, I'm dealing with mostly our European-based customers.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And Thomas.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, it's Thomas here. Well, I'm with Qlik now like for about 15 years. So I've been in the field before I joined the product management team. It's like 6 years ago almost there. So and since then, well, I do work on the Qlik Sense topic, mostly. And then one of the teams I'm working with is the team within R&D who's owning the Windows platform. I do as well work with the teams working on the SaaS side of the house, but this is so the Windows team. That's the one that I'm working with as well, and that's obviously what we want to talk about. So happy to be here, and then trying to answer as many as questions as you have. And yeah, well, that's me. Yeah. And based out of Germany,
Thomas.
maybe just adding that one thing. Yeah.
Oh wow, nice. Thank you, guys. So my name is Jamie Gregory, and I am a technical support engineer here at Qlik as well. I am in the Raleigh office. My main focus for the past about 2.5 years has been within Qlik Sense Business, or Qlik Sense Cloud as it was previously known. And then I also focused on geoanalytics a lot. So this year I did shift to the new digital support team. So this is the team that is kind of bringing this session to you along with the Qlik community. And so if you haven't had a chance to be on the Qlik community, you definitely want to check it out. It's community.qlik.com. I primarily work on the blogs on the Qlik support updates blogs page. So if you haven't seen that yet either, you should definitely check it out. It's a great place to get the latest information that's happening within Qlik support, any new releases, how-tos, or just kind of anything that's going on. All right. So let's go ahead, get your questions in. Remember to use the Q&A panel below. And let's see what we have going on so far. All right, so I do see one question. I have set up a single node Qlik Sense Enterprise, and we have developed a Qlik app and published it on the stream. Ours is a startup, and it's going to be just about 3 to 4 business users who would be seeing the published app. How do I share the link of this stream published app on the QMC to the business user?
All right, I'll take that. So what I would recommend you do is just go to the app in the hub, get the link, and you can share that link, right? It can be that simple, especially if you're only dealing with a single app. You can give people a direct link to that application. Make sure that those users have licenses, or that you've created a license assignment rule that will cover your users, and then that's really it. If you've got a bigger system, then I would recommend give people links just to the hub and let them explore. But otherwise, yeah, just send a link directly to the app that they're going to care about.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Andrew. All right, let's see. I have another question here. Can you share if there is a roadmap for bringing some of the new Qlik Sense Cloud features to Enterprise on Windows, like charts in the hub? That is a new feature that we actually just recently blogged about.
It's like that's for me, that question. So it's Thomas here, right? So yeah, so well, let's put it this way. So we are, well, like the monitoring charts, that's a very specific example, but we do definitely have a couple of features that we are shipping in a dedicated way to our SaaS platform. But what we are definitely working on, and that's like one of our kind of promises, and like where we invest into, is like to bring the Windows platform and the SaaS platform like together, and that's what we call multi-cloud. So yes, it can be the case that we have like features, and especially the new ones, that we are shipping only to the SaaS world. But because we do invest quite a lot in that multi-cloud capability, so the plan is definitely, especially for the ones being on the Windows platform today, to give you like a very kind of good and easy to follow, easy path forward to combine these two worlds, right? That's really that's the intent behind this. So, and from a multi-cloud perspective, it's all about making this like super easy to kind of to take an app from your Windows environment, distributing that to the SaaS world. And last but not least here, it's because the hub in the Cloud Hub is capable as well to use like links So you can even like, mix and match like, Qlik Sense apps on Windows together with the apps on the cloud side. And, for the user, it's very seamless, because they won't actually see a difference. And that means as well, like the monitoring charts, they can show up on that hub. Plus you can show, like apps being on the Windows platform and so on, right? So that's really like the plan. So the leading hub on top is really the cloud hub, but that can obviously be, the one that shows you content from, the Sense Hub on Windows and the SaaS one. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Thomas. I just kind of want to add a little bit to that. Melissa, if I can go ahead and share my screen. Just give us 1 second here, folks. All right. Let me know if everyone, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I always like to make sure first. So this is the Qlik community. So on top of what Thomas was kind of saying, I did want to share a couple of things with you guys about, or everyone on the call today. So if I go here to Qlik Support Knowledge and then Qlik Support Updates blog, this is the blog that I was talking about a little bit earlier. And so this is the one that we do have monthly releases, or not, I'm sorry, not monthly, that's just SaaS. But every time that there is a major release within like Qlik Sense or any of our products, we do blog about it and we do kind of call out those features. So maybe if there's something that you're looking for, accessing one of those blogs or looking for that blog would give you a way to know if that feature is available yet on Qlik Sense on Windows. So if you're on the Qlik Support Updates blog, you want to make sure that you're subscribed by clicking the subscribe button. It's unsubscribed for me because I'm already subscribed, of course. But something else that I wanted to point out was down here also on the Qlik Product Insights and Ideas. So this is where you guys as users can go ahead and enter in your feature requests. So you just click on the ideas and then it'll take you to our ideas board where you can search for ideas. And if you're seeing that something that is in SaaS is not on Enterprise on Windows, you can definitely enter the idea in here. And then people like Thomas will go ahead and review that and see if it's something that could eventually or is already on the roadmap to be entered into the product. So I just wanted to share that with you guys really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Let's see. We do have another question. So are there any on-demand online courses to learn advanced Qlik Sense administration? For example, the scale out from one node to multiple nodes. Let's see. I know we have multiple training courses available. I don't know if they're on demand just yet or if they are like WebEx or Zoom meetings on a scheduled basis, but we can definitely get that schedule for you. Do any of you guys know of any other tools that are available to kind of help with learning more about?
As far as scaling out, I don't know if there's like we have the Qlik Toolkit, diagnostic toolkit, which talks about scalability tools and in there. Now, if that's regarding to scaling out your environment, it might be helpful, but there's a website that's publicly available. It's called diagnostictoolkit.qlik-boc.com. Let me put this in the chat. Let's see. Oops. Let's see.
That was the wrong
That was
chat.
in the wrong chat. Let's see. I'm sorry. Where do I go to put that in the chat window?
There's an option for
go.
all panelists and attendees.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just I can put that in. There you go.
Yes.
Perfect.
There's the link to that one, and there's also a link to another site called the Qlik Sense Admin Playbook. which is very helpful for going over a lot of different options within Qlik Sense and managing the environment. And there's videos which will be very helpful, and potentially that might have some answers in regards to scaling up and installing and setting up.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are, I can definitely understand why you would be looking for information on that. Scaling can be trickier than I would like. I'm aware that I don't necessarily have, like, my perspective on issues with Qlik Sense are somewhat skewed because working in support, you don't really see a lot of fully functioning Qlik Sense systems, or Qlik systems in general, because for some reason people don't contact us and say, hey, my system's working perfectly. Would you like to take a look? So I've seen a lot of different ways in which systems haven't quite scaled the way it scaled as well as they could have.
Perfect. All right, and so we'll keep searching too to see what kind of tools or what kind of education we have on that. And just so you guys, everyone knows that we are recording this session. It will be posted to the Qlik community along with a written out FAQ. So we'll go by question and provide each answer and provide links in there as well. So you want to look for that. The FAQ gets posted on the Qlik support updates blog. So you'll be able to kind of check that out if we weren't able to provide a lot of resources on that one, but we will look into it for you and get you the answer that you're looking for. Also, you always have the option, of course, to contact your account manager and work with our consulting team. They are a really great resource and they can definitely help you scale your system out if that's what you're looking for. All right. Excellent question. Thank you very much. All right. So I have upgraded Qlik Sense and now my extensions are not working. Can you please help?
So one of the things that I find often needs to be clarified when someone says that something is not working. That is a surprisingly vague piece of information. Something could be not working in all sorts of ways. So, for example, the extensions, when you go navigate to an app, do the extensions not load? Do they load very slowly? Do they load, but then when you try and interact with them, are they missing features? Like, these are quite different scenarios. So it's really important to let us know a lot more than just this doesn't work. I mean, this is general support case raising things, but like when you raise a support case with us, the more information you can provide, the better. Screenshots, timestamps, log files, everything. So I know that there are different reasons why extensions can go away. So for example, there's the extensions bundle that can come with, that you can optionally install with Qlik Sense. So if you move between an installation of Qlik Sense with the bundle and an installation of Qlik Sense without the bundle, a bunch of your extensions will disappear. Then there are other kind of more specific issues that can occur with extensions where you find that the extensions aren't compatible with the newer version of Qlik Sense, or something's gone wrong and your shared folder has been changed so they're not where you thought they were. So like I said, unfortunately, when you work in support, you find out that there are many different ways in which things can go wrong and many different ways in which things cannot work.
That's fine.
And
Thank
I guess
you.
that's what keeps us employed.
Exactly. All right. Let's see. Is it possible to move the service cluster folders from the C drive to the D drive, for example, as our D drive has more free disk space?
I'll take this one. This is possible. You are able to go into We have tools available within the installation of Qlik Sense that allow us to make changes to this service cluster location. It's pretty simple. We do have some articles on it. I'm going to do a quick share screen and maybe do a quick demo of it. Let's see. Share. Let me know if you can see my Qlik Sense environment real quick.
We can.
All right. So over here is this is on our help site. It's real simple, just to how to change service cluster or shared path. And one of our first articles in here talks about it. And so it's very simple to just go into support.qlik.com and then looking for that answer. And there's detailed and video about how to do it. I have in here a Qlik Sense environment where my service cluster is going to a C drive, just a shared path on my C drive. And say I wanted to change it to a different environment or different folder on a different drive. Say I don't have a D drive, but for example, I want to change it to this new shared folder. Go through the same process as creating a shared path during the install and share it with the service account. Make sure you have the shared path. Then within the install of Qlik Sense, you go to the program files, Qlik Sense repository, util, and inside of here we have a Qlik Sense utility. And this is a tool that it comes with the install, and once you have it open, you connect to the database. So this is where you're going to be using the super user password that was used during the install of Qlik Sense. Once you're connected, you can click on Service Cluster, and then this here, you'll just click on OK, and this will tell you what your current shared path is. As you can see here, this is my current shared path here. So if I wanted to change that, I would set up the shared folder on my new drive, say the D drive, and then come in here and post the new shared path, keeping the same paths here. After that's set up, and then you'll just click on save. This one, we do need to update our tool because these old folders are no longer used, but there does need to be an entry. After this has been changed, you'll need to do a restart of all of your Qlik Sense services. Also, you have to manually move any data from your old folder location, such as your apps, your static content. Your static content is where your extensions and stuff are at. You have to manually move these files over to the new folder. The tool does not do that for you. Because if you don't do that, then when you attempt to go in the hub and open up an application, it'll be like apps not found because it's not there. So after you manually move everything over, restart the database service, which will restart all of your Qlik Sense services. Once it comes back up, you'll be able to log into the QMC, same as normal, and then this shared path will be updated to the new shared path location. Pretty simple, and the article on our help site is very good and detailed, and it talks about everything that you need to do. It gives you the paths of where everything's at and goes through the steps, and we also have the video. So if that's something that needs to be done, it's very good to look for that answer on our help site, and just look up the article if you want to go through it again.
And often, so a related question that I find often comes up is to do with moving the program data folder, which is also located on the C drive. And we do have an article on how to do that. So I'll just quickly share my screen. This is found in a similar way by going to the support portal. There we go. So if you go to the support portal and you search for, so this is where I can cheat because I know what it is, but if you search for program data and you look on Qlik Sense, let's try moving program data. There we go. Change the installation folder for Qlik Sense, change the Postgres database folder is one of the possible options here because that's what's going to consume most of your space. So this does mention one of the main methods for doing this, which is not actually supported, which is to use a symbolic link to basically you move the contents of the folder elsewhere, and then you make a symbolic link where the original folder was. So it works, but it can cause problems around upgrades, and generally speaking, you're going to need to move it back. Around upgrades, but there are steps for doing that. And we do have customers that, due to various IT policies, just have very small C drives for some reason. It's like, no, we are only allowed 10 gigabytes of space or something on C drive. And then, well, it's better to have a method documented that we can help you with than to leave you stuck, I guess.
Perfect. That was great, guys. Thank you so much for showing all of that. I hope that answered that person's question. If they have any more questions, let us know. All right. So kind of piggybacking a little bit about installation, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So we do kind of get a lot of questions about installation, obviously, and just kind of about resources in general that we have for installation. So let me go back to the homepage on the community. And if you just search on the community installation guide, and you could even refine that with Qlik Sense specifically. We'll just give it a minute to pull up. But what we do have is installation guides and upgrade guides for Qlik Sense. So these are kind of similar. They were based off of the help site. And let me just find it really quick. Maybe, hopefully. Let me just refine it. So these are step-by-step installation guides. And they walk you through the installation of Qlik Sense or the upgrade of Qlik Sense. They have pictures to kind of walk you through the steps. And then they also have links to articles for troubleshooting any issues that can arise from that. So I do just want to share that really quick if I can find it for you guys. Here we go. So here it is. This is the article for it. And then there is the link to the guide. So right here. So like I said, that is just a guide that kind of walks you through any installation or upgrade. It has these common issues and tips sections that link to different articles. So if you do come across an error or anything like that, hopefully this guide will be able to help you get up and running as quickly as possible. All right. All right, so there is another question. Is there a plan to bring QlikView Access Point and Qlik Sense Hub together and or the Qlik Management Consoles? So this one's probably for you, Thomas.
Yeah, I take that one. Well, it's related to what I, related to how I did answer the earlier question. So we do have a multi-cloud kind of, setup for QlikView as well. So it's possible since now I need to take a look. I think it's April it was, since April. So we did enable it like for QlikView that you can distribute QlikView apps as well into, into a SaaS tenant. So there's no plan to distribute like a QlikView app into a Qlik Sense on Windows environment. That's not what we are doing. So that's for sure not the case, to be very specific here. Same for the management console. So yes, we do have the multi-cloud strategy for QlikView, but then only into the SaaS world, not into the Sense on Windows world. So that's to be very specific. Yeah.
Perfect, great. Yeah, there has been kind of a push for more knowledge on kind of integrating the two, QlikView and Qlik Sense. And just so everyone on the call is aware, we do have a session coming up. I believe it's September 25th, and that's going to be specifically like working with QlikView and Qlik Sense and how you get your QVWs and the cloud and things like that. So we do have an upcoming session about that. So if there are any more questions on that, that would be a really great session to attend. All right, so let's see. One more question here. How do I create an authentication link to license Qlik Sense Desktop? We've had some changes recently where Qlik Sense Desktop has to be licensed either via Qlik Sense Business or Qlik Sense Enterprise.
I can briefly talk on this one. This is sometimes it's pretty simple that, but let me go ahead and share my screen again. Let me know when you can see.
Yep, we can see.
Okay, so
Lovely
inside of
title.
the virtual proxies, this is where you're going to set up the authentication link. So I'll just go to my central proxy, and then under the client authentication link tab, we've got the URL that you're going to use and just a friendly name. You'll put this information in and generate the key. After you enter this information in and set it up, you'll provide this URL to the end user who's trying to get the authentication link. They'll go to their browser on their desktop using that link. Sorry, let me grab that again. Now I'm just using my IP address on this in test just because it's simpler to access my environment that way.
Yep. Though in general, don't use IP addresses, use host names.
Yes.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Well, I mean, you can see exactly one of the reasons why you want to use a host name.
Exactly.
In this example, because you get the warning.
Yep.
And then once you have that set up, you'll just come down to here and click on client authentication. It's the 3 buttons up here. And this right here is the client authentication link. It's the same thing that we see here. So if you did not want, if the user didn't, have access, you could just send out this here. It's the same link that is generated in here. But please note that the user, to be able to access they do need to be able to have a license, a token applied within the license management to be able to access the desktop client as well.
I believe that has to be a token or a professional.
Professional or
yes.
Or
yep.
analyzer.
Yep.
I don't have Qlik Sense installed at the moment. As you can see, I'm currently installing right now on my desktop. But when you do click on the link, it'll you can say open up in Qlik Sense Desktop. And then when it does, it'll have that friendly name that you selected or chose in the virtual proxy. And you can just click on that and log in, authenticate in with that, authenticating that way.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do want to just really quick, I did say that the QlikView to Qlik Sense session was on September 25th. It's actually the 22nd. So whatever the Tuesday is of that week, which I believe now is the 22nd, it would be on that day. So that would be the QlikView to Qlik Sense session that we're going to be reviewing, kind of going you know, putting QVWs or into the Qlik Sense Cloud Hub, or just differences between the two products and things that are coming with that. So let's see.
And I'm also going to paste a quick link inside of the chat that is regarding the authentication link. It's it's a article on our community setting up configuring the Qlik Sense desktop authentication link. And it also has a video, which is good because you can also authenticate via the server or with Qlik Sense SaaS.
Awesome, thank you, Mike. All right, let's see, any other questions? Everybody, just don't forget, you can enter your questions into the Q&A panel below so we can happily answer them. All right. So Thomas, we're having a few questions kind of about what's coming in Qlik Sense. Would you be able to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So the upcoming, so the next release for the Windows package, that's going to be in September, right? So that's the one that's the next one. So we do have a couple of improvements. I'm just reading from that list because there are like a few areas that I'm not necessarily managing directly, but I can give you a quick. So I go a bit more into detail for the stuff that I'm owning, and then just to cover first a few ones where I think there might be an interest. So there are a few improvements for the visualization. So there's some improved reference lines for like bar and line charts. So they now include dimension-based reference lines with formatted labels and so on, right? That's what we're going to do. The animator control previously, it was part of the Qlik Analytics package. The animator control gives users the ability to animate, changing data over time by auto-selecting values and stuff like this. So that's something that we're going to improve. And other chart improvements, they're going to fall into the area of the number formatting of master measures, turn on and off borders in containers. Then we're going to do custom sorting in Sankey chart, frequency counts in the filter pane, the web map service, the layer capacity, and the hover icons toggle. So that's pretty much, on the visualization side of the house. Then the other side, and that's a bit more like, again, into this multi-cloud setup. So for those of you who are, already, you might have seen already like a multi-cloud setup. So there's something that we call like a multi-cloud setup console. And one of the goal here that we have is to move the multi-cloud setup console into the QMC. And you're going to see a first major step of it in the upcoming September release, as you're going to see an app distribution status page. So instead of just having, you guys to look into the log files, you're going to have a chance to see the status of the app distributions to your SaaS tenant straight in the QMC. So that's new, that's coming. So the status page, and so looking a little bit more into the, the rest of the year. So for November, currently, like we plan to take the whole, multi-cloud setup console into this QMC, which then allows you as well to do all the setup in it. So that's this one. Another one is, and some of you might have seen something that we delivered as well, like back in April as a tool in the Windows kind of package, which is the application management console, so the AMC. That's mostly like for customers having a lot of users willing to use the QMC, more from a self-service perspective. And so I guess it's fair to say that, if you have like a lot of users with a lot of different permissions and, so to speak, different kind of rules behind the scenes, so that slows down the QMC. So therefore, we do suggest you to use the AMC if you have like a lot of users managing content in the QMC at the same time. And we're going to start moving some features from the AMC over into the core product. So a little bit as well back to, are we shipping kind of new features, to the Windows package? Yes, we do. And that's one, because you're going to see like a table view of all apps in the hub. So meaning you can see like a lot more apps in that view. So that's an improvement to the hub. And we are as well planning on top. That's not for September. We do have like plans to deliver as well the ability to set up like task scheduling and task management, as well as part of the hub. So that's currently planned. It's not possible to confirm that yet, but that's something that we are kind of, keeping an eye on. And last but not least, that's going to be almost like a hidden capability, but that's interesting for those who are, interested in that we're going to start supporting NFS as a file share type with the upcoming September release. So meaning, you can then, as an example, install the Qlik Sense Enterprise on Windows package into GCP, so the Google Cloud Platform, and using their kind of default storage, which is, the NFS, no need to do any kind of NetApp, shaky kind of whatever Windows sharing kind of thingy. So the NFS one will be supported starting in September. It's a first version, so yes, obviously we do test it a lot, but what we are saying here, we will ship it, it's supported, but before you do this, and enable this in production, suggestion would be to test it in a test environment first, give us as well like some feedback, but again, we're going to deliver that capability in September, and I think that's a big one for a couple of customers. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I know that, some of our larger customers would be very pleased to hear about improvements to the self-service piece there.
Yeah.
Well, that is very exciting. Thank you, Thomas.
Sure.
All right. So this is, I think, the last question that we have. And we kind of get one like this quite a bit, I feel. So I have a user that has root admin access, but we can't access anything in the hub. Right.
Yeah. Yes, that is a classic kind of question, and this is one of the things that I run into a lot. By default, administrative roles within Qlik Sense don't really get any special privileges on the hub beyond the ability to see the monitoring apps. That's it. So if you want your root administrator or any sort of administrator role to have extra privileges on the hub, you need to create those roles. But by default, all they do, like all of their abilities, and I mean, a root admin gets access to everything in QMC. So your admins can't actually just look inside every application, see every user's content, at least not directly. I mean, they can, because they're an admin and because they have access to everything in QMC, they can modify the rules such that they can do the other things, but it's not built in.
Right.
And yeah, so one of the simplest ways to check if you've got, the reason why you can't do something on the hub is actually a thing that we colloquially refer to as the God rule. So I'll just share my screen for this. I'm pretty sure we have an article on this topic. So let's just start by going to support.qlik.com and look in the knowledge base for security. Let's just first search for security rules to see if it pops up with this kind of thing. Security rule list, if you want to see these. Here you go. Guidance on how to conclude if the issue is security rule related. So this has gone into community. Eventually that transition will be a little smoother. But this is what we kind of refer to within support as a God rule. What it is if you want to check, I'm trying to do something and it isn't working, is this rule related? The simplest way to do it is, well, if I have access to everything, then it still doesn't work, then it's not rule related. So you can very quickly and easily go to the QMC and create this kind of super admin role where you just grant one particular user. And so here, this is working by creating a role. You could very specifically say, user.name equals, Andrew Delaney, for example. And then you can, and critical to this rule is the fact that it's both in Hub and QMC. And you just literally, the resource filter is star, which means every type of resource. The privileges, you just check every box, every single box that it presents you. And then your user has access to everything, right? Then if whatever action you are taking, you're trying to take, whatever app you're trying to open still does not work, then it isn't a security rule related issue. It is instead a different issue. It would depend on what you're trying to do, right? It could be that your application is corrupt. It could be that you're not on the section access rules for that given application. It could be that you're missing a file or something. It really depends on what it is that you're trying to do. If, however, it wasn't working before, you create this rule, and then suddenly you can do whatever action it is you're trying to do, then it is rule related, and you're going to need to spend some time to work out what privileges it is that you are missing. One of the reasons why this works and is that security rules are additive in Qlik Sense. You cannot create a rule that takes away privileges. You can only create a rule that grants them, which means that we don't need to worry about, oh, what if there's a rule that says, actually, Andrews cannot open applications, because such a rule can't exist. So this will just basically sit on top of anything else that exists. And the other thing is, make sure that you remove the rule once you're done testing. Because otherwise, obviously, you have just given a single user access to anything on your system with Qlik Sense, which is not an ideal long-term plan.
Absolutely.
And also to piggyback on this, along with creating the super admin, a lot of good ways to find out like why someone has access to something or why someone doesn't have access, and to find out which security rule is related, is using the audit function.
Yeah.
Within your QMC. Inside the it's very easy to find out what rule is governing something. So like if you want to say, right now he has it set up as streams. So, but like if you say someone has access to an app that they shouldn't, you can change the target resource to app, narrow it down to that specific user or app by using the magnifying glass, and then you can change the environment to hub only. Within that, it'll list all of the rules, or now it'll list the users and the application that you're applying. Then you can double click on the green R or something, and then it'll list all of the list of security rules that are giving access to that user. So like this one here, this user can see or read this application because of this one rule called stream. You can double click on that. If he double clicks on that, that's the specific rule that's giving that user read access to that application, or read access to that stream, or read access to these bookmarks or app objects, or update. You can easily disable it and then go and re-audit, and then you'll see that the user no longer has, it'll change the color from green to say yellow. Yellow will define saying that there is a rule related, but it's been disabled. Different things like that. But the audit function is very good to help narrow down what rule is causing an issue, or what rule do you need to modify to make the changes. Setting up the admin rule, the super admin rule is good to know that it's a security rule related problem, but then you got to go the next step and find out what rule is defining it, or how do I modify the rule, or what needs to be changed in that rule. And this is a good way to find the rules that are governing those specific things, such as apps, streams, where, inside the hub and or inside the QMC. So if you change the environment to QMC only.
Yeah. So, to go back to kind of my initial point, you'll see that all of the rules that actually reference admin are context QMC, which is why they only actually apply to your admins in the QMC. They don't give them extra powers in the hub.
Great. That's awesome, guys. Thank you. I know, I hope it helped everyone kind of seeing how to go about troubleshooting an issue like that. That's the kind of purpose of these sessions. And that was a really great example of step-by-step on how to go ahead and troubleshoot an issue with security rule. That was really awesome. All right, so last chance for questions. Go ahead and enter them in if you have any more. Melissa, do you want to go ahead and kind of talk about our next session?
Sure. What I want to do is put a link. I'm going to put a link now for everyone to see to our events and webinar page. I would recommend that you either bookmark that page or definitely subscribe to the page. Make sure that your notification settings in the community are set properly so that you can get alerts. Jamie, you want to do a quick screen share for me? Let's pull up the events and webinar page. The next Talk to Experts event will be on September 8th, and the topic will be end printing. And then, as we said earlier, the session after that is September 22nd, and that will talk about how to transition from QlikView to Qlik Sense. So definitely share the Talk to Expert event with colleagues, with friends, with anyone that you think would be interested. We would really appreciate that. We do think there's many people that would gain value from this. And we also hope that you found the session valuable. So thank you for taking time out of your day. And of course, a huge thanks to Mike, Andrew, and Jamie, and Thomas for driving the conversation. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, everyone. I think that's it for today. So once again, thank you for joining us today. We had a lot of fun, and I hope that you guys did too. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.